My name is Gregor Podnar. I'm a gallerist from Berlin. I started with artists who I was very much interested in, but they didn't have a gallery presentation yet. This was the starting point. And I have to say that with a lot of my artists, I also share actually much more than only the business part. Much more. So it's a kind of long-term project, in a way. And then you add to the artist you started some new positions. It's either going more in a sense of a medium, which I was not interested before, but for instance, I was interested now working with a young painter, or no, with a young artist who works with painting only, or with a young artist who works only with the media of photography. So just to learn within this process by younger artists. This is, for instance, what I started with 2 artists a few years ago. Before, it was not a particular focus on media at all. Even now it is not. But if somebody is working only with one media, then of course you see it even more through this perspective. I started to curate. This was in Ljubljana in Slovenia in 1996, 97. And then in 2001, 2002, I started to go on art fairs. At that time, still within this association, which I was running. And then I decided to shift from curating to the gallery business. Of course, at the beginning, it was not quite clear for me, because I came from the curatorial part, and then I had to learn through mistakes, and actually also through the change of the market over the last 13, 14 years. I still imagine that the gallerist should be somebody who is promoting his or her own ideas. Of course, it's always in connection to the influences you have. But so for me, for instance, it's pretty difficult to change something which I think has its quality. Even, for instance, if it's from a certain commercial point of view, very difficult at a certain stage. And I have to say, I'm also very much related to the historical past of the contemporary positions. So I'm interested in ideas which are grounded, let's say, in some modernistic approaches. Not basically only, for instance, like that what we call conceptual art, which actually was conceptual practices of the 70s, and nowadays we misuse this term. It's more kind of ideas which if you mention utopian, yes, there might be also utopian ideas which are connected to modernism. Still, I feel that I have to learn, I have to adapt to new changes of the market. When I started 15, 13 years ago, it was pretty different than that what we face nowadays. Bigger competition, also like the art fairs became much more important as they used to be 15 years ago. We have also to think how to surpass certain things, because definitely the development as it is not going towards arts, you know. It's of course very strongly more and more commercial, more and more towards sales, but this doesn't mean that the development is the right one for that where art should be placed. This is also connected to the fact that there is a very weak local market in Berlin. So most of us work, galleries internationally working or dealing with international art, we have to be a lot around. We have to be in a lot of fairs, because otherwise we could not sustain the business. This is the realities of most of my colleagues and also of my business or my gallery being located in Berlin. I think it's important to re-enhance certain ideas, to see it materialized. So for instance, we can speak about artwork, but still it's very important to feel the physicality of a work. And since a gallery is also a production center or a place to display, I think it's important to realize, to have it there. It's even much more important than, for instance, at the art fair, because at the art fair you can sustain a nice platform, but still in the gallery context you have more time to think about. Now we live in this system. Of course, it would be utopian in that sense to think that we could live at this point totally without this circus of art fairs. That for sure is an important platform. But we have also to think the other way, and also there is already a lot of collectors who are not following the stream. There is a lot of people who already backed up. They say this is too much for us, too much of circus. We have to focus. And that means that then, of course, also the market has to go on. Plus, which I think is also very important, that the institutions have to be more independent again in their decisions. This is a striking point. If the curatorial part and the museums are getting again get a stronger impact, then the market will change as well. I think that times are not getting more easy, but I'm an optimist. It's going to be a more diverse scene on long term, for sure. That means I see already this kind of need that certain galleries which we share certain ideas of how work could be done, that we try to communicate much closer as we used to do. So that to try to find out what could be the ways to present art, or let's say ideas in a certain way which might differ from the mainstream. But then, of course, if you do something, this can mean again a kind of mainstream somebody would reject and so on. But it's just like, I just feel that, of course, we have to always rethink our own position.